Very good morning, students. I hope you all are well. So, in my previous video, I have given you a link and I told you to ask your doubts about chapter 1 and 2. And I'm very happy to know that so many of you responded on it and asked me the doubts. So, uh, still, that link is on and the responses are on it. So, if anyone is having doubt, they can ask it there. I will make my next video on your clarifying your doubts because only some topics of this chapter are left. So I thought that first I should finish this chapter, and after that I will make a video on your doubt clarification. So today's topics of this chapter 4 are Bohr's model of an atom, atomic number, mass number, Bohr-Bury scheme, and valence electrons. In previous video, I have explained you about the theory of how electrons, protons, and neutrons were discovered. What are their characteristics? What are the experiments which were performed to discover these three subatomic particles? Now, let's get started with today's topics. So, first one is Bohr's model of an atom. To overcome the shortcoming of Rutherford models, as I've explained you in the last video, there was Rutherford model which explained about the structure of atom. So there were some drawbacks. To overcome the shortcomings of Rutherford model, a Danish physicist Niels Bohr postulated an atomic model, and that model is known as Bohr's model of extranuclear structure of atom. He received the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1922 for his contribution towards the structure of atom. Now the feature of this Bohr's atomic model are the electron revolve around the nucleus in fixed path called orbit and also known as shell. Here you can see energy levels are given that are called shells. It can either be represented at KLMN or it can be represented as 1, 2, 3, 4 also. The shells or orbit are represented either by number n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 or by the letters K, L, M, N beginning from the innermost shell. Each orbit or shell has a fixed amount of energy associated with it. Thus the shells are also known as energy levels or energy shell. As you can see here, this is the KLMN naming the shells. This 2, 8, 18, 32 is the electronic configuration. Don't go for this 2, 8, 18, 32. KLMN, or either we can call K as 1, L as 2, M as 3 and N as 4. The first orbit from the nucleus, K shell, has the lowest energy and the second orbit, L shell, has the higher energy than the K shell. When we move from K to L, L to M, M to N, the energy increases. So K is the innermost shell and has the lowest energy, then L will have the energy higher than the K, M will have the energy higher than L, and N will be having the highest energy. Electrons will not lose energy as long as they are revolving in their particular energy level. Just suppose if there is one electron which will revolve in K shell, it will not lose any energy if it is revolving in K shell. But if it will be transferred from K shell to L shell, there will be some loss or gain of energy. Electron gain energy when they move from lower energy level to higher energy level, and electrons loss energy when they move from higher energy level to lower energy level. And the outermost shell of an atom is called its valence shell. So this is all about the Bohr's model of atom. Now, atomic number. Atomic number is defined as the number of proton present in the nucleus of an atom of an element, and it is denoted by a capital letter Z. Atomic number is equal to number of protons. We can simply say that atomic number is number of protons. Okay, total number of protons which are present in the nucleus is called the atomic number of the particular element. number of proton is equal to number, and we know that number of proton is equal to number of electron. So atomic number will be equal to number of proton, and that will be equal to number of electron. It is represented by capital Z. The next is mass number. Mass number is defined as the sum of the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom, of an element. It is denoted by letter capital A. For example, the mass of element aluminium is 27, which contains 13 proton and 14 neutrons. So mass number is equal to number of proton plus number of neutrons. Okay, so mass number is equal to number of protons plus number of neutrons. Number of protons P is equal to atomic number. So mass number is equal to atomic number plus number of neutrons. And in this way, if mass number is given, you can find out atomic number. If atomic number is given, you can find out mass number. So remember that atomic number, total number of protons present in the nucleus, and mass number is the sum of the proton and neutron present in the nucleus. When we represent this the mass number and atomic number of any element, it is represented like this. So here you can see the symbol C for carbon. The atomic mass number will be at the superscript, and number of protons will be at the subscript, or we can say atomic number will be in the subscript. So atomic number will be written in the subscript, here it is 6, and mass number will be written at the superscript, here it is 12. Now next is arrangement of electron in different shells. We call it electronic configuration, and we can call it Bohr-Bury stream also. The systematic distribution or arrangement of electron in various orbits or shell around the nucleus of an atom is called electronic configuration. Because it was explained by the scientists Bohr and Bury, the main rules suggested by them are known as Bohr-Bury rules, or we can call it as Bohr-Bury scheme. So important rules of Bohr-Bury scheme are: the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in given shell or orbit is 2n square, where n is the number of the energy shell. You have read this scheme in class 7th also. You will find it a little bit difficult to understand, no problem. Just pay attention, concentrate and try to understand it. Apply that 2n square rule, simply it can be arranged. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a given shell or orbit is 2n square, where n is the number of energy shell. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost or valence shell is 8, except for the K shell, if it is the outermost shell, as it can hold only a maximum number of 2 electrons. The shell just before the valence shell can hold only a maximum number of electron 18. So here we have to apply the 2n square rule. 2n square rule, where n is the number of energy shell. So the first shell, that is K, can accommodate only 2 electrons. Then this, if there are only 2 shells, then the outermost shell will have the maximum number of electron, that is 8 electron. But if all the shells were there, then there will be maximum 32 number of electron that can be accommodated by the 4th energy level. Now the electron will first try to occupy the shell that contains the lowest energy level. Electrons will not try to occupy the next shell until the lowest energy shell are filled. So first the lowest energy shell will be filled. After that only the electron will move to the next shell. If suppose that K shell is empty and the electron will move to L shell directly, that is not possible. First the lowest energy shell will be occupied. In your book, page number 52 and 53 is all about electronic configuration, and on page number 54, arrangements of some 20 elements are given that will be illustrated, that how the electrons are arranged in that. So just go through it once, you will understand it. Now valency, elements have the combining capacity, that how many electrons can be combined with each other to form a compound, that is called valency. So the combining valence capacity of an atom of an element with other atoms or element is known as its valency. It can also be defined as the number of electrons an atom can donate or accept in order to combine chemically with other atoms or elements and form molecules or compounds. So every element try to achieve an octet or duplet configuration by either accepting, gaining or donating or losing electron or valence shell. To become a stable compound or a stable atom, valence electrons are the ones which take part in chemical reaction and result in the formation of different molecules or compound. Valency of an element is always a whole number, and these are important because they are involved in chemical bonding. So valency is the combining capacity of element, and it can also be defined as the number of electron an atom can donate or accept in order to combine chemically with other atoms or element and form molecules or compounds. So this is all about this chapter. Now your chapter is finished. With this video I have attached the link of the notes also. Make notes and complete your copies, and next video will be on your doubt clearing session. So hope you will find it useful in your study. Thank you and have a nice day.